Okay, so are we just going to get into it?
I don't know how this works, but okay.
Just follow our leads, I guess.
I listen to the podcast.
To every episode.
Oh, you know,
I've seen that. I don't know how you guys start on here.
We'll do introductions and be like,
Usually there's just kind of an awkward pause while we all kind of gather ourselves. And then we're usually failing at it. Hello once again to Can You Not? We took a week off again due to different conflicts. We were originally going to have to again, but Amber cannot be with us today. So instead, we worked around and we have a woman here named Bryce Lewis, who happens to be my girlfriend.
Dingus. God, okay, hi. That's me. I'm Bryce.
Bryce, what are you interested in? What's your main interest in life?
My Odyssey bio says that I love theater, hummus, and complaining. So
I actually thought that was.
That seems to be quite accurate at this point. So.
But yes, Bryce is going to join us today, and maybe for future episodes, depending. We shall see. But she's got a topic for us, and. How it works is we each have a 10-minute topic that we each bring to the table. None of us know what the other has brought, and we just go through and we discuss it, and that's about it. So, Jesse, would you like to go first?
Sure. So whenever you're ready to start this timer.
All right, and you're off.
Excellent. So, as of recent, the ISIS conflicts around the world have just blown up. ISIS has become something greater than I don't think any power nation could have even imagined at this point. And as of recent, to talk about another thing that kind of will integrate into it is Anonymous has stepped up their game with cyber hacking. And now Anonymous has declared cyber war on ISIS. And many terrorist experts and analysts have weighed in and said, actually, what Anonymous is doing with shutting down these Taliban websites and ISIS forums is actually put intelligence on the back burner in regards to the U.S. trying to find out what's ISIS' next step, because Anonymous keeps shutting down the websites. So they aren't getting any intel from them. So I guess the big question is Anonymous helping out the situation with fighting ISIS, or are they a detriment to gaining intelligence and kind of moving forward against ISIS?
I mean, it's especially anything with Anonymous is always going to be a tricky situation, because it's kind of like the Edward Snowden thing almost. It's like on one hand, he did a lot to really reveal a lot of the terrible things that were happening, but he still technically broke the law. And so you want to say, like, well, no one's technically above the law, but at the same time, like, he should be celebrated for the things that he brought forth, So I just think the thing that's interesting too about Anonymous is, of course, it's so unbridled. They don't have a formal leader. They don't have even necessarily a solid, like, plan in mind usually, but they kind of assimilate into these things. And so, like, I don't think it was necessarily Anonymous's intention to hinder this. Like, obviously they were trying to do what they could to help, and by shutting down all those Twitter accounts, by targeting some of the sites, like, I think it was just kind of an unforeseen thing. Maybe now that it's made awareness, maybe they could work with the government. As ridiculous as that seems, I can't even imagine that happening, but it would certainly be interesting to see those forces unite, the government hackers and Anonymous. if there might even be an overlap for all we know.
Sounds like, I don't know. Sorry. It makes me think of this movie. Anyway, sorry, that's beyond the point. I think if the way that ISIS is able to communicate breaks down a lot, then it's probably gonna be more helpful for Anonymous to keep doing what they're doing. But if they're still able to communicate and make plans, then it's probably not worth it overall.
I actually found out, so we have a good friend named James, and he had recommended an app to me several months ago. He was telling about how this is this great app, it's better than Facebook Messenger. You can talk with times called Telegram. I tried using it, and I was like, there's no one really on here. I didn't end up using it. Well, I found out months later, ISIS has been using this same app because of how secure it is to make its plans. And that's really pretty much there's no way of really tracking anything on there or like really tearing apart anything on there, and that's why they use it. So, yeah.
I just think it's kind of crazy right now that there's even a group that exists like Anonymous, and how over time they've been seen as a terrorist organization to like a cyber crime fighting organization in a weird way.
They definitely are way more positive now than when I first heard of them.
Oh yeah, like 7 or 8 years ago, everyone was like, "Who are these people? Why are they taking down these websites?" And it's like, and their reputation really has. It's almost like I think it's almost kind of like the evolution of Banksy. If you're familiar with Banksy, the street artist,
definitely.
Like he starts out, "Oh my gosh, he's doing all this graffiti," and everyone's like, "Ooh, a Banksy artwork on my building! How wonderful!" And it's like it's interesting to see how the public perception changes.
I mean, personally, I don't think. I do think it's a detriment when they're closing these websites. If they were to freeze them and lock them out, like lock the moderators and the users out of it, I think that would help out the NSA and the CIA and the FBI for sure. So there is like a middle ground to this, but I definitely think their participation and influence with fighting these terrorist organizations is really beneficial. Because once again, Anonymous is just not in the United States, it's around the world.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to find them because they use these hidden servers.
Yeah, I forget that a lot, that Anonymous is not just a United States thing. Like, it is really around the world. That's something I think a lot of people don't think about.
And they really have, it's like the reason people so much are comparing this to like a World War III situation, which I don't think it'll escalate that far, but you never know. But like,
oh God, don't even talk about that.
But it's because how many times has Jesse and I were talking about this the other day, how many times has one organization captured so much of the world's fury? Because the US hates them, Europe hates them, Russia hates them.
Yeah, Russia. We're on that same
Like, what? I mean, once again, like, Joe and I were talking about this, and I think, Bryce, you can agree, like, this kind of a conflict is so new to the world because of technology and because there's so many new factions. Like, Syria has... So Syria's leader is an authoritative, totalitarian dictator. Mm-hmm. And then you have a rebel group that's comprised of the Kurds, regular ethnic Syrians, and then you have Hamas that's in there too. But Turkey is targeting the Kurds while targeting Assad, while Russia is helping out Assad, targeting the Kurds, but the United States is helping the rebels who are targeting Assad.
It's this massive
like, what is going on right now? Yeah. It is weird. It's beyond chess. It's beyond checkers.
And you can see how everyone doesn't know which side to pick because they're like, oh, well, we already said we were going to help them, but we can't help them because they're the enemies now. I don't know what to do.
I didn't even know. I feel bad saying I don't even know what the heck's going on. I just know bad things are happening, honestly, at this point.
I mean,
scary.
You know as much as everyone else does. Like, what do you do next with this?
Turning back to the idea of cyber warfare, though, it's interesting how new this is, you know?
It's new.
This would never happen before, like...
Yeah.
Ever.
Oh,
because
God.
You think about how much we rely upon the internet, not just the average person, but governments and, major corporations. Look at how easily Sony was able to be taken down a year ago, and how devastating that was, releasing all the private information, social security, and that was an example of, you couldn't have done that 20 years ago because there was no way that someone would, from North Korea would sneak in and put fire to the documents or use a filing cabinet, just throws it out a window. And it's like, let's go. But now with this, it's so easy for the right people.
You can access just anything now, Oh man, I always think it's weird when people make friends from foreign people, but until I actually did it. And, I'm actually good friends with someone in Brazil. I've never met them, but it's so easy to just access everything. And it's terrifying at the same time, and I sound like an old crazy recluse.
How many times do we give out our email or our address to things?
I'm gonna be paranoid now.
Just halfway. You're not even thinking about it. It's okay, yeah. How many companies and databases probably have all of our information? And I doubt anything will come of it just from those companies. But like I said, if some of these hackers get into it, it's like.
And the crazy thing is our information has always been, I guess, locked up with NSA and CIA and the FBI, to be honest, since birth. So that's not new. And if you ever have a credit card or anything like that, like our information's there regardless if you have an email, if you use the internet or not.
Yep.
So like that is done.
Particularly
like,
our
sorry.
millennial post 9/11 generation with all the
Our whole existence is on the internet.
Yeah.
Right.
Even if you're not on the internet. That's crazy. Dark digital stuff. Very dark digital. But I guess like in summation, we all are in this position where cyber warfare is so new. We have no idea how impactful it can really be yet, because the Syrian conflict could start a massive war.
yeah.
I mean, even, sorry, like I am in a class right now about codes and stuff. Like the kinds of codes that I can do just like as a student, like is way more advanced than anything we could have done back even like 10 years ago. Just the access I literally can make any kind I can encrypt files. Like I don't even know what the heck I'm doing, but I can do it, and it's scary. It's just there's so much technology now, it's crazy.
I think that's how I take our relationship.
What?
I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but it happens.
Oh god.
And it seems to be working so far.
So charming.
Anyway, yeah, Cyberwarfare.
It's pretty scary stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, Anonymous can make an impact, but they need to be careful of what they're doing. Obviously, they're not going to work with the government, but like be mindful, Anonymous, and don't
They've kind
hack
of laid
us.
low for a while too.
Don't hack me. Don't hack me, bro.
They've laid low for a while too. This is really the biggest fuss they've made. And
Well, that
Well, and the Ku
actually
Klux
matters to the
Klan
thing.
thing
man.
too.
Yeah.
They dropped
God.
all that. I read that document like it was the Bible, the Torah, the Quran. Like I read it like it was one of those things. Like, oh my word.
It was funny because like a lot of them though were like, it was hilarious how blatant some of these people were when
Yeah.
you saw some of the Twitter accounts. Like they would literally have like all the symbology in their profile picture, and like every single post would be like, yeah, black people are dumb, and it's like, I wonder if they hate black people. I don't know.
I just wanted to see if there was anyone I knew in the immediate area. You know what I mean? Like I definitely
I
looked
knew
at
it.
Ohio. They're all Southern Ohio people.
Of course they are.
Like near
Southern
Marietta.
Ohio and Northern Ohio are completely different countries, basically. Like,
But anyway,
once you get past Columbus.
Next topic. Bryce, would you like to go next?
Sure.
Or should I go next?
I can go. Okay, I don't know how much this has been on your radar because this is something that's been focused more on like Greek life, and I'm in a sorority, but there has been a lot of sororities and fraternities and the whole National Panhellenic Council withdrawing their support from the Safe Campus Act and the Fair Campus Act. And when I first heard about it, I was like, I don't understand. That seems like a good thing. But actually, it's pretty bad. The Safe Campus Act was introduced by 3 Republicans. The main issue that people are having is that anyone who has been a victim of rape before their school can do anything. They have to report it to the police. And that's the thing that people are really not liking. And I really did not like this at all, and I was like, oh no, this is terrible. But the scariest thing for me was as I was researching it, the kinds of comments people were posting, it wasn't anyone in support of it. It was all men saying like, oh, we have to protect our boys. Oh my God, all the false accusations. Of course you'd want to go to the police before you ever, like, school should not be involved with this at all. And I was like, well, there's going to be a lot of people who aren't going to feel comfortable going to the police about something like
And this
this.
applies to the boys too. So like, if
Yeah,
boys
it's not like they're just like, oh man, women they just want to just blame men for rape, and I was like, oh, okay there. Like,
I mean, there are very few psychos that do that, but the number of people who
yeah,
would be willing to do that is
looked
so
it up. Like, okay, I was
small.
like, okay, maybe you have a valid point. So I looked up the actual amount of rape cases that were proven to be false accusations, and they think it's somewhere between 2 and 10%, but it's kind of confusing because that 10 and 2% are proven
ones that you know
false.
about.
So that means that, but it's not just like, it's either that they had a alibi so they could not possibly have done it, or there wasn't enough proof against them. So they could have raped them, they could have not, but it wasn't worth exploring further, so they just kind of called it false. And the majority of those, of that 10 and 2%, are actually just, they didn't feel like further exploring it, which is really scary.
It's disgusting. I hate this constant trend of shaming women for any kind of for existing, for God's sakes. It should be the person, whoever got raped, it can be a man, but most of the time it's women. They should have the ability and the capability to make choices without being regulated by law, especially when you're being raped. Like there should not be a mandate between you have to go to the officials or you have to go to the school. Like that's their choice. Let them feel comfortable with the choices there are, and like let's stop as men making rules for women. Wow. That's mind-boggling.
All the people who put this bill in place were all men also.
Wow.
So yeah,
okay.
surprising.
Case closed. Sorry.
And there's this constant like, I don't know why it's so perpetuated. This constant need to kind of play down how serious sexual violence is.
It's a very big deal.
And you know, down to the prison terms and how it's like 10, 15 years tops. You know, it's like. Then you give this person who, I don't know, smoked weed or something, you give them like a lifetime sentence. It's like, or sold a little bit or whatever. It's disgraceful. It's disgusting. And like, you know, they always say, well, we need proof. We need evidence without a doubt and like all this stuff. And it's like, well, sometimes that evidence isn't there and you have to go by, I hate to say it, but sometimes like in an instance like that, you have to just have to take everything that's given to you and really make a assertion from that sometimes. Like, sometimes there just won't be proof. Sometimes there's no way, you know, especially if it happened like a year ago. If it was more recent, sometimes they can find the tearing and stuff like that. But like if it was long ago, you can't, you're just gonna have to, I don't know.
I see it like a commonality between like dealing with racism and sexual harassment and rape. They all sometimes don't have tangible proof, video evidence, sound bites, DNA evidence, but they've happened, but the victims are never listened to without photos, anything. It's crazy.
And even sometimes with the photos and
it's
stuff.
Still not good enough. It's still not good enough.
I mean, I know that you said that this often happens to women. My first thought was all these men who are saying, like, what if this happened to you? Like, the way that people think about how men should act, what man would feel comfortable going to the police about something like this? Who would help them in this kind of case?
Exactly.
You know,
because they're going to be looked down on because of something like that.
You know what it reminds me of is the whole Duggar controversy, where the eldest son had done some pretty terrible things to his younger sisters when he was younger. At the time, though, the family had protected the son because, well, first of all, they had money to make and they didn't want to be putting that out. And so they brought him to a policeman friend who they knew, who actually turned out also to be a molester, and said, well, you got to just talk to him. And they sent him off to work on an uncle's farm for a couple weeks or something like that. And it's like everything about it. And especially in these small towns, this stuff can get covered up so easily.
Oh, God,
the only reason we heard about the Duggar thing is because they're a huge family, you know, in terms of their impact on a lot of people. But how many times has this happened where nothing gets said?
Yeah, actually, I wrote a paper about this actually pretty recently, and I was doing some research, and I found that the majority of, even in cases where, yes, this person sexually assaulted this other person, most of them don't get kicked out. Normally they get community service.
Yes.
And
yes.
How is it for the person who, they proved their point, they won their case, and they still have to see this person every day?
Yeah.
Or they get kicked out after they graduate.
Oh, yeah, which is just so timely. In my philosophy class, we were talking about this because we were talking about feminist theory, and we were also talking about rape and stuff like that. And the interesting thing is, a lot of people after my philosophy professor, you know, pivoted the question of, do you think this is an issue at John Carroll? No men or women raised their hand except one woman.
Oh my God, that'd be so scary.
It's because men have made this environment where women feel so awkward, like in juxtaposition of like, if I say this, will I be silenced? And I could see it on their faces. They looked at each other and looked at the men.
Oh, man.
And all the men, of course, are like, it doesn't affect me. And I'm like over here, like my hand is up. I don't even go to John, like this is my first semester in John Carroll, but it would be stupid to say that rape is non-existent at a campus, especially a private university. Because these universities, they can throw stuff underneath the bed and pretend like it never happened, especially these sports athletes or these legacy students. And these legacy students are forgotten. These are the ones that are second to third generation. Their families have money. Their families give money to the school.
They're bulletproof.
It's a cold shoulder. It's a little elbow rubbing, and they're good to go.
Exactly. As I was doing this, I was trying to remember the girl over the summer. Well, all of last year, the mattress girl from Colombia.
Yes.
I cannot find any information about how that ended.
No,
I cannot find anything.
Amazing?
And I kept seeing people in these comments oh yeah, the mattress girl, she just made it all up. I couldn't find proof for or against that. I have no idea.
I never heard the
over the summer, there's a lot of good information about it. It got really intense, and I know that she walked. When she graduated, she walked with her mattress, and a bunch of other women helped her with it, which is really nice. But I don't know what happened.
Well, there's this constant idea too that there's not a rape culture. We don't tell people. That's ludicrous. You're overreacting. But it's subtlety thing. It's the small things that build up to this misogyny that is constantly, and it's all the little things that tell you about getting a girl. It's like a conquest, or
it's misogynistic to think that a girl couldn't sexually assault a man too.
That's true.
That's 100. I think that's disgusting. For me, being a feminist, being a feminist is a girl can just do something as deplorable as a man. It's all the same. It doesn't matter who did what. It's all bad.
Right. Well, did you hear there was a case recently? I guess there was a couple. It was. I think it was even a married couple who had attacked this teenage boy, and were trying to get him to have sex with them. And they forced him down, and it was him and another woman friend of theirs too. Yeah,
that was a big case in England, I think, something like that in the 70s. Where it wasn't boys, but it was young girls, and it was a husband and wife team. Yeah, it's pretty infamous serial killers, actually.
But that gets laughed off too.
Yeah, exactly.
When the kid, he liked it all the way. He must have loved that. No, it's. I think
there's a new show about that, American Crime. They're gonna be talking about that. I'm gonna watch it. Looks good.
Maybe I'll give us a review on the podcast.
So I challenge all male feminists to, instead of talking for women and taking these issues as if they're your own, how about you support them as feminist ideology states you believe in the equality and equal justice for men and women. So how about in this case you support the women and you don't speak for them like these lobbyists and lawmakers?
Yes.
Yeah, promote their stories and let them tell the stories.
Exactly.
I know we ran out of time, but one final thing. Actually, all the sororities and fraternities and the whole Greek Council, all across the nation, actually supported the Safe Campus Act at first when it first came out in July. And it was only this past month that they stopped supporting it after Alpha Phi was I don't think we're going to do this. And then slowly they all started being I don't think so either. Even though they were lobbying for it hardcore in the beginning.
Isn't that it? Wow.
There's one sorority. And then finally my sorority got on board and I was thank the Lord. God, it took you long enough.
My topic is a little less serious.
I know both of us.
Get you heated.
Yeah, really, both of those topics are, man.
I told you.
This is man.
It was not about Facebook.
I thought you were going to talk about the Facebook Italian flag thing.
French flag bullshit.
No, that was definitely much more of a worthy topic. Anyway, so there have been a lot of UFO sightings lately.
Oh my god.
No.
And it's
social justice warriors over here in X-Files, man.
No, and I want to make it clear that I don't think these are actual UFOs. But I just think it's interesting how every couple of years we get into these little crazes. They had the thing over in San Francisco. There was that astronaut who was up on the ISS and he took a picture and someone said, look, there's a light over there. And then they were talking about how they found some unusual light patterns coming away from a distant galaxy that almost looked like they had some sort of man-made device, or not man-made, but an alien structure in front of it that the way the light was coming out. So they actually want to focus more. That could be a legit one. They actually want to focus more attention on that one. It's crazy. They said they really want to investigate this thing more.
That's amazing.
It's very fitting that X-Files is about to come back on air. This is the time for conspiracy theorists, right?
Back.
It's the 90s all over again. It's the time of the conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
All over again.
But I guess what I'm interested in is, why do people like to believe in things that are so unknown and that are so So Jesse already has his hand up. You know, I think there's an excitement to it, but I was wondering if anyone was going to elaborate.
Okay, so first of all, I do believe in like there is an existence in this galaxy. Like the galaxy is too vast.
Same.
It's way too vast. I definitely believe there's like planets, nations, and cultures that are like way technologically more advanced than we are and have figured it out before we have. It's just how like the time and space continuum works. You know what I mean? I definitely think you should be open to options and like and theories and kind of just like creatively elaborate and then empirically elaborate and put it together. I am against this whole like knowing for sure that these things are here and like saying without a doubt that there isn't like alternatives to everything. So like for instance, like saying there's no such thing as extraterrestrial life, I would say no, that's not right. But then you're saying like if another person said there's definitely extraterrestrial life, then I'm going to be like, well, we need empirical proof.
Yeah.
So like photography is great and all, but I would also like to see like NASA declare like this actually exists.
Know, right?
So I'm putting my faith in NASA and the world's space governments, you know what I mean, and programs to really come up with like, hey, look at this. This is something we need to focus on. And if it is truly a thing, then like, awesome. But like the people that watch Illuminati videos and like OD off of that, y'all need to get a job.
Reptilians.
Get a job. Please get a job. Smeagol.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's really, I don't know if egotistical is the right word, but it'd be really egotistical of us to think, oh yeah, we're the only ones out there. We're the only intelligent anything out in the whole universe. Well, that's just us. No, I think that's ridiculous.
Intelligence on here.
True. But anyway, yeah, I think it's just silly to just think about it that way. Like, there's just too much. Like, how could you possibly know? And honestly, I don't really care either way. I'd be, yay, aliens. Yay, no aliens. I don't really care.
I mean, it'd be cool. It'd be cool.
Here's the thing. I think there is extraterrestrial life for sure. I don't think it's visited Earth. I don't believe all that. But I'm not like here or there about it. Like I genuinely think that would possibly be the greatest discovery of all human history.
But what if they want to kill us?
Something else. Well,
they don't want our Earth though.
I mean, who would want our Earth? Like we don't even want our Earth. We don't even want our Earth. Like it's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, you're already doing it yourself."
What if they want to harvest us for food?
Who would want to eat us?
What if they want to use us for scientific experiments?
I mean, but then again, they would be observing us.
But here's the thing, though. We have a bias to think that they're automatically going to dislike us. Every movie, every book.
Exactly.
What if they're actually really friendly? What if they're like,
okay. If they're really friendly, though, and they had the technology, don't you think they would have wanted to come by now?
No. Here's the thing. They might, they might have already have. We don't know. You know what I mean?
That's true.
But the thing is,
scary.
well, I mean, it's the world. It's vast. You know what I mean? They could have visited us. They could have.
They're probably in the ocean. We don't even know what's in the ocean. We don't know.
I talked to Joe about this before.
We do not know what's in the ocean.
I talked to Joe about this before. Like, the core is an accepted idea that's not been proven.
Oh my God! Yes, you're right.
You know what I mean? Like, the core is such a fable of the Earth, and we've not even gotten deep down to the depths of the sea. Joe and I were talking about this maybe a couple months ago, and I was like, I'm more afraid of what's actually on the Earth than like what's out there. We have no idea.
What I think is always interesting too, they always say like there's a certain limit where life cannot exist. There's just too much pressure, temperatures, and they keep on digging deeper and they keep on finding more. It's
crazy. You have no idea. We
adapted.
Anything can adapt. You can live anywhere.
A couple years ago, there was they drilled in something in, I think it might have been Antarctica. It might have been in the north. But they said they let's just dig as far as we can. Like they made a hole, like I guess it was further than they had ever dug, and they can't tell what it is, but there's murky figures down at the bottom.
Gross.
Like spongy sort of like fish things that
for one thing
would exist.
So to your point of why would they want to go to the Earth? In Dreamcatcher, one of Stephen King's books, which he apparently wrote while he was high on oxycodone.
Which is a nonfiction book.
Yes, he was high the whole time he wrote it. Apparently, he does not remember writing it, and he says it's shitty. In this one, aliens come and they basically are trying to use the Earth to reproduce. That's their whole thing. Which is pretty interesting.
Well, okay.
There's even
so who knows? They they're trying to contaminate the water. They live through this dust that's kind of like a fungus, and it infects the body, and it reproduces this alien species.
There's even legitimate theories, like not just gobbledygook nonsense, like actual theories that that life.
Lucy Watson.
That life.
It's golly. Oh, jeez. Sorry.
The idea that maybe life started on Earth by coming on like an asteroid or something that crashed in, which means that we could be aliens.
That's like a Twilight Zone episode. Like, I'm pretty sure, because I've seen almost every Twilight Zone episode, I'm pretty sure there's one where like these two astronaut. Oh yeah, an astronaut crash lands and he finds this woman. It's kind of like Adam and Eve, and he's like, "What's this?" He's like, "Oh, this is Earth," and I'm like, "What?" It's crazy.
Whoa. I think the punchline of every Twilight Zone episode is, "It was man all along."
I mean, but actually, it's fine. It's like the one where, oh man, it's like a strange incident on a country past. I think that's what it's called, where it's like this like Martian's like, "I'm gonna infiltrate the Earth," and then this guy from Venus is like, "Oh, we already did. Sorry."
I do enjoy the Twilight. I do enjoy the Twilight Zone. Have you seen the Christmas related episode?
Of course I have.
Okay.
Actually,
Before this turns into a Twilight Zone podcast, maybe that could be the spin-off.
Part 2 of the podcast
So
bonus.
we all agree that there's almost definitely.
Yeah, there's probably aliens. I accept it. I mean, E.T. was a thing, so like I get it.
Yeah, they got him on camera. They got him on camera too.
It's like, yeah, I mean, like there's proof. Like I'm pretty sure like that was an actual alien autopsy, so like it's fine.
I had someone that I used to work with who was in the military, and he claimed that he read secret government documents. And maybe I'm about to get.
No, you're not saying it.
Okay.
Sorry.
I won't tell you what.
No
I won't tell you what he
spoilers,
said.
sorry.
Listen,
No
there's
spoilers.
2 black people on this podcast, and neither one of us want to be
That's true.
taken by the feds. So, like,
Yeah, it's gonna be like victim blaming. And
here we go. It's us.
Parts 1 and 2 of this conversation will come into play.
I'll play back this episode a week later, and it'll be 2 completely different people. And I'll be like, I could have sworn I had a roommate named Jesse. Nope, just good old Harold. Hey, Harold, want some breakfast? Like,
Harold. Harold's the true alien.
Harold is the truth.
Everyone was replaced by aliens. That also actually happens in the Tommyknockers, another Stephen King.
I'm so done. I am so
But there's
done.
also aliens, and they infiltrate people's minds, and they communicate through telepathy. And I don't remember what the plot of that book was, but I remember that it was very scary, and I did not like it. And there's a lot of aliens.
How many Stephen King books have you read?
He's my second favorite author, so almost all of them.
Weird, yeah. That dude pounds out books like
Yeah, it's
like he's
disgusting, and I
breathing.
love it.
Anyway, 7, 6, 5,
Yay.
4, 3,
Stephen King.
2.
I like turtles.
That
turn it off
tune
any
actually plays
second.
in my head, honestly. Like, I've heard that so many times.
His damn alarm clock. The alarm ringer pisses me off
I
so
just use
much.
that as my alarm.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I know.
That's the alarm, I know.
And I'm like,
is that also your
Joe,
ringtone?
turn it off.
Is that your ringtone as well?
No, I don't have a ringtone. I just keep my phone on vibrate.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to call me, my number is.
Okay.
Anyway,
I would say find me on social media, but I don't.
yes. Well, you.
I'd
Let's
have
do
to
the
find what my
socials.
Twitter is.
Let's do this. Okay, well,
I
I'll
don't
start
remember
off.
what my Twitter handle
Your Twitter
is.
is Loudrop.
Well, I change it like all the time, so I never remember.
I'll start out the socials. So if you want to follow me on Twitter at Black Celtic, BLVCKCELTIC. You can friend me on Facebook. I don't find that awkwardly. Jesse Keating, JESSE space KEATING. There you go. You're gonna get close and personal with me. I really don't
Stalk
care.
me on
Send him fan
Facebook,
art.
yeah.
Fan art.
Yeah, wait, you gotta get that logo. Somebody can do your ox.
My
Oh,
ox.
wow, it's so clever.
Bryce.
Okay, yeah, my Twitter is Lewdrop, LEWDROP, because I'm so creative. Actually, I didn't come up with that. And you can follow my theater blog.
Oh.
So it's called Title, and it's a little dash of blog.tumblr.com, and if you get that reference, you're pretty cool.
You win a rubber ducky.
I actually do have a rubber duck.
Oh, we're gonna send it to him.
No, that's mine. It's a surfing duck.
Mine is Pogie_Joe, Pogie_Joe. You can also find us on iTunes if you search the Can You Not podcast, as well as on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/CYN podcast. What did we learn today?
I learned.
Jesse and I are gonna get kidnapped. We're not gonna be able to go to the police because we're not gonna feel comfortable. And Anonymous is gonna help us out, but they're just gonna get in the way of the government, and aliens will come. That's it. The Tommy Knockers. Part 2.
I learned that Bryce is just gonna drop a truth bomb. And
I'm the
then,
new Amber.
anyways,
Oh no,
Amber
that's what
better
Amber
beware.
does.
Amber's
Sorry.
like listening right now, like.
I'm so sorry. I'm not the new Amber.
Shouts out to Amber though.
Yeah.
Amber J.
Amber, rest in peace.
Amber J. Shouts out to OG Bobby Johnson as well. OG.
Yes, our loyal
Shout out
listener.
to Joe's White Sox,
Yes, my White Sox.
which was my actual topic, but I didn't want to.
And you could have gone.
I was like, my topic today is why are Joe's socks so white?
What are those?
What are those? That should be the name of this podcast. What are those?
Joe sucks not.
Can they not? What?
Why is that